各位朋友，大家好，歡迎收睇人氣馬場。今集我呢個嘉賓非常之犀利嘅，事關佢除咗女騎師之外咧，更加打破咗咧喺英國贏得最多頭馬嘅女騎師紀錄。講緊咧就係我哋杜苑欣啦。Hello Hollie, welcome to Hong Kong. So first of all, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Hollie Doyle.
Longer?
And I'm a professional jockey.
So actually, this time what brings you to Hong Kong? Because normally during the winter season in England that you would ride in Japan and you have a very good results too. So this time why Hong Kong?
Well, it's a place that's always intrigued me, and I've had a bit of luck over the few years I've been coming on like short periods. So I thought it would be interesting to do a bit longer and get to know the system and learn a bit more really. So I was just really grateful the Hong Kong Jockey Club have me.
So it's quite, in Hong Kong we don't have too many female jockeys, but of course we know that in Europe and also in Australia there's a lot of female jockeys. So can you tell me why would you like to become a jockey? Because normally when the girls, they love Barbies and and dolls and they would like to dress up like a supermodel, so why it's a tough job, jockey?
Yeah, I suppose obviously it's pretty obvious that I'm not one of those girls that likes Barbie dolls, and I'm not very girly, so I've always been a bit one of the boys really. Even growing up I was playing football whilst the other girls were there kind of plaiting each other's hair, so I've always been a bit like that, and I've just grown up around horses and it's all I know really, so I've always wanted to be a jockey.
So I know that your first winner is going back to 2013 May, the horse called the Mongoose, and then you start your riding career. So can you still remember how do you feel when you with your first ride? Because you normally go to the pony club when you were young, right?
Yeah, no, I was really lucky. I grew up around horses and I rode ponies for as long as I can remember. So I had my first ride when I was 16. I think I was still in school actually, and I started off as an amateur jockey and my first ride won. So no, I was pretty lucky, and it was really weird. I was so young, but because I'd wanted to be a jockey for so long, it felt like I'd been waiting for that moment for a long time, although it was my first ride. So no, I was very lucky in having quite a winner so early on.
So it's a big difference because in Hong Kong, the kids, if they want to be a jockey, they have to go through the Hong Kong Jockey Club, the apprentice program. But in overseas countries, it's different because you guys can have a first touch with the pony and then go to the pony club. There's a lot of famous jockeys actually grew up from the pony club as well. So can you tell us what have you learned from the pony club?
Yeah, no, the pony club was some of the best days of my life really. Obviously, it's not really anything to do with racing. It's like a thing you do, when you're a kid and your parents send you off there to learn to ride really in the basics. But yeah, no, it's lucky. It's a nice little platform to have really, just to learn the basics of how to ride really. So I kind of, obviously we had the British racing school, and if you've never ridden a horse, that's where you go really if you want to get into racing. But because I'd kind of had the benefit and privilege of having a pony at home, I was kind of able to do all that before I went there.
So and then you just went through the apprentice school in UK and then allocated to Richard Hannon. So for a few years too. So I think you have built a very good foundation when you are with Richard, right?
Yeah, definitely. I was with Dave Evans for a few years before Richard, so I had a really good grounding there.
Yeah.
It was tough, and he made me quite resilient as a person. When I went to Richard Hannon's, the riding side of things just kind of developed quite quickly, and I improved faster. So yeah, that was like I said, I loved working there. It was great. We had a big bunch of apprentices back then. There were 5 or 6 of us, and we all got on well, and it was really competitive.
So I remember the day that when I was having some trainings in Australia, in the stables, actually it's very tough. We have to wake up early, mark out the boxes, and also horses are not easy to handle because we are quite small and then they are very powerful. As a young girl, and working in a male-dominated sports, how can you survive actually? Can you give us some tips?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I never saw myself as a female jockey. I just was one of the lads, a number, same as everyone else, and I just think the apprenticeship I served at Richard Hannon's just put me in good stead. I mean, it was hard work. I muck out 6, ride 6,
yeah.
And it took me a while to ride out my claims, so I did that for a few years. Obviously, some people just straight away fly and don't have to do that for a while, but I think it was just the right way round to do things really, because it made you appreciate the success when it finally came.
I think you should be very determined because normally for the young kids nowadays, if they face some difficulties, they can easily to give up. For you guys, just like staying in the stables may not have enough rides, but you still have to do all the hard work until the day that you are finally go to the track, and then maybe may not a good ride and get some criticism from the online people. Just like how can you just like go through all the process? How can you make you stronger? You talk to someone, or you have a good mentor to give you advices?
Like I was really lucky. I grew up in racing, so I kind of saw things from the outside before I stepped into the circle, and I saw people's struggles and successes. So I knew the expectations, and I knew what could happen. So I was quite lucky in that regard. I suppose if I hadn't had that experience, it would have been even tougher. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it was mentally quite tough because everyone progresses at different rates, and I was maybe a bit of a slow burner in improving with my riding compared to other people. But I think the competition at Richard Hannon's with the other apprentices only brought you on, and it's make or break really. You either take it one way where you have the motivation to improve and say like, right, I need to be as good as them or better, or you go the other way, unfortunately.
Yeah. So do you still friends with the same batch of the people, the jockeys when you are with Hannon?
Yeah, we're
who are they?
Well, apprentice-wise, there were a big group of us. It was Cam Hardy, Mitch, Tom was there. Obviously the jockeys-wise, Sean Levy, Pat Dobbs, Kieran O'Neill, Richard Hughes had just retired the year I went there, and yeah, no, we're all.
Oh, so that means you met Tom since a young age.
Yeah, I've worked at the same stable, yeah.
So when we're talking about your first Group 1 win, actually it's back to 2020 in the British Champion Sprint on Grand Show. So how do you feel, just like how amazing of you to be a female jockey to win a Group 1?
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. Obviously it was a tight finish, it was a photo finish, so I didn't actually know if I'd won crossing the line, and to be called the winner was just a huge feeling of disbelief. He was a huge price. We got him from France, actually purchased him. He was running over 10 furlongs and he transformed him into a top sprinter. So from the team back at home, it was a huge training performance, and I just did the steering.
So now you are the most successful female jockeys in England, then you just like break Haley's record on in May this year, 2025. Do you have a set role? Now you're the role model for lots of youngsters. So how do you do you feel it's a little bit stressed about this title now?
Yeah, I suppose it's a responsibility, if anything, to kind of set a good example, and but I just be myself, and it's not too hard really. Hope I can kind of point people in the right direction and set a good example.
Yeah, so you have been very successful in England, and also you're riding winner in Italy, and also Qatar, and also in Hong Kong. So what are the differences compared with different countries? Just like put Hong Kong and UK, what are the differences?
Well, everywhere's got different rules, different whip rules, so you have to adapt quite quickly, and thankfully with the experiences I've had, I think I've managed to. Obviously in Hong Kong, as I found out, it's quite strict to the stewarding, the 2-length rule. We don't have that in England, so racing is a lot different here. It's a lot cleaner but tighter. In interference-wise, there's a lot more interference in England due to the rules, but yeah, you have to really adapt, especially to the whip rules as well. Obviously in England they're really quite strict. We're only allowed to hit them 6 times, whereas here it's very different.
So among all your Group 1 winners, now you have ridden 10 Group 1 winners, so last one should be one of the most special one, because she bring you 3 top level winners, right?
Yeah, no, she was a really special horse. She had all the attributes. My first classic winner, the French Oaks. So yeah, she's one that won't be forgotten.
Yeah, so also you have a very good working relationship with Archie. So can you tell us when get it start? Because you originally worked for Richard Hannon, and then when you start to work with Archie?
Yeah, so I was at the end of my apprenticeship. I think I was still claiming £3, and at Richard Hannon's, when you lose your claim, you use the incentive to want to use you as a jockey, I suppose. So you become a small fish in a very big pond. And at the time Archie had just started training, and he was using me a bit, and it was just natural progression really. Over the months I started going in there a bit more and riding a few more horses, and I became a professional, and I was still working for Richard and Archie, and I made the transition over to Archie's really to ride there full time.
So among all the winners, what's the most memorable one?
The most memorable winner? There's plenty. But for me, the most special was my French Oaks win on Nashua, the classic.
Yes. Because for all the jockeys, especially in England, then winning the classic race is just like too important for their career, right?
Yeah, it's so important, and they're very hard to win, aren't they? And you don't know if there'll ever be another one, but hopefully there will.
Yeah, so going back to the day that when you break the Halley's record, before the race, do you expect that, oh, that's the day that I'm going to make history? Do you expect that?
It's something that's really strange. Like for me personally, it's not something that I've ever, like my ambition was never to be the best female jockey. It was just to be a good jockey. So obviously it was significant in doing that from the outside looking in, but to me, I mean, I always just wanted to be seen as a jockey because I get to compete equally. But obviously, it does mean a lot and it's good.
I think that will be one of the key points for your success because you don't really give yourself too much pressure. You want to be, oh, I'm okay, then actually you're doing better than people expected, right?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I just want to kind of ride as many winners as I can and be as good as I can. I don't really, well, I do overthink a lot of things, but if you do that too much, you'll burn yourself out.
So coming to Hong Kong, what's your expectation actually?
Well, I know how tough it is, so I was really surprised and delighted to have had that winner on the first night. I was very lucky. So I just want to ride as many winners as I can, to be honest, and do as well as I can. Obviously, that's the main goal. I'm not here for a holiday, definitely not, or a nice time. I just want to ride winners.
I read some news that talking about that you do plan to stay a longer time in Hong Kong, maybe in the future. So is still this in your mind?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this stint is something that's opening my eyes and will do me good to learn the systems going forward, to know what to expect. I think it would have been really hard to have come here straight away for a really long period and not know what I can learn from this experience. So yeah, it's early days, but we'll see how we get on. Got 6 more weeks to go, yeah? Might not have another winner.
Of course. So as we mentioned before that horse racing is normally just like a male-dominated sports, but we love to see a lot of female jockeys actually doing so well. We see Jamie just win the Melbourne Cup, and also you have been very successful in the UK. So if you guys set a role model for the next generation, especially for the female, do you have some advices for them? Because we all know that racing is not an easy game.
Yeah, no, it is really tough no matter what the gender, to be honest. But I think, particularly being a female, you just can't think about that. You've just got to see yourself as a jockey. Like, you're lucky that you can compete equally and be paid the same, because in any other sport that's not the case. Yes. So I think you shouldn't dwell on that and just try and be a good jockey and do as well as you can.
So going back to your personal life, so we know that Tom is very cute and lovely couple. So can you tell us how as you mentioned that you guys met at Hendon Stable, right?
We knew each other before that for a few years. Yeah, we met actually when we were pony racing when we were kids.
Really? Oh my
yeah,
God.
so it's been a while. We've known each other a long time.
So do you have any at first sight glance with him, or?
I was too young to, too young back then. But we've known each other a long time, and we've always been best of friends before that.
So he's actually quite a positive, just like always have the positive wife guy, right?
Yeah, he's really positive and he's very chilled and very laid back, and quite opposite to me really, but we get on.
Yeah. So a lot of people will wonder how a racing couple just like live together, how you guys balance your life, because you guys face each other as a competitor on the racetrack, and then when you go back home you still have to see the same face. Actually sometimes quite tough, right? If he beat you or you beat him.
We're both quite level-headed with that. To be honest, in England we race every day, and often we're not at the same track, and often we don't see each other a lot because we're staying over or we're in different places, so we don't actually have much time to spend together, unfortunately, but we get on exceptionally well, and we do speak about racing, but it's not the forefront of our topics, to be honest.
Yeah. So if you are not a jockey, what would you like to be?
Honestly, I'm lucky I've done all right as a jockey, because I don't really know. I used to like the idea of being a vet, but I don't know if I'd have been up to that.
So from now on, so you are staying in Hong Kong and then you will go back to England. So any big races that you would like to win in Hong Kong or even overseas?
Well, there's plenty of races I'd like to win here. Obviously, the international meetings coming up. It'd be nice to get some, rides on the card. Have a Group 1 ride would be really good. But it's early days for me, and it'd be great if I could, but I haven't got too high expectations.
Okay, so there's a few questions about some fun facts about you. So you can just give me a short answer and then tell us why. So first of all, who would you like to just meet again? Just still if he's dead or still alive?
I would have loved to have been in the era of like Sir Henry Cecil and trainers like that. I mean, I don't think there are many people like that about anymore, and it would have been lovely to.
You have one superpower. What would it be?
I always say the same thing, and that's to fly, because I hate being in the car, and I'm in the car quite a lot in England. So.
Flying is always the best, right? Or maybe just like Doraemon, you have the door, then you can just go inside and then to where we want to go.
That would be ideal. Yeah.
So if you can invite 3 people for dinner, who are they?
Well, probably Aidan O'Brien, Jessica Ennis, and probably Johnny Wilkinson.
Oh my God, Tom is not on the list.
Not Tom, no. I've had enough dinners with him.
Thank you so much, Hollie, and it's a nice chat, and I'm sure that the audience will know more about you, and hopefully you get more winners in Hong Kong and also overseas.
Thank you. Cheers in.
Thank you.
Thank you.